Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a classic Python challenge, how to reverse a string. It sounds simple, I know, but the solutions are actually super revealing about how Python thinks. Okay, so picture this. You've got a word in your code, maybe Python. How do you programmatically flip it to no teep? This isn't just a brain teaser. You see this kind of thing pop up in coding interviews all the time. And it's a fantastic test of how well you know Python's powerful tools. So, we're going to break down 3 really popular, powerful, and pretty elegant ways to get this done. Let's dive in. All right, first up is the one you'll probably see the most out in the wild. It's arguably the most Pythonic of the bunch. It's called the slice. Yeah, just look at that. That's it. That's the entire command. You take your string, which we're calling text, and you add this little bracket notation at the end. It's so compact, it almost feels like cheating, doesn't it? And I love how our source material puts it. Boom, reversed instantly. It's that feeling of immediate power that really captures the whole philosophy of Python. Get big results with clean, simple code. So how on earth does this little magic trick work? Well, it's all about something called extended slicing. The format is always start, stop, step. Now, by leaving the start and stop parts blank, we're basically telling Python, hey, I want you to look at the entire string. But the real key, the secret sauce, is that last part, the -1 for the step. That's just an instruction that says start from the end and go backwards, one character at a time. It's just a beautifully efficient way to use a feature that's already built right into the language. Pretty slick, right? Okay, on to our second method, which is another huge fan favorite. Let's call it the joiner. So this one uses 2 different functions working together as a team, reversed and join. Now, you can see it's a little bit longer than the slice method, but a lot of developers really like it because it's super explicit. You know exactly what's happening just by reading it. And that crystal clear intention is exactly why our source material describes it as clean, simple, and Pythonic. You hear that word, Pythonic, a lot. It just means the code feels natural, like it's using the language's tools exactly how they were meant to be used. Okay, so what's really going on here? It's kind of like a 2-step dance. First, that reversed function takes your string and creates something called a reverse iterator. Think of an iterator like a Pez dispenser. It holds all the characters, but it only hands them out one by one, in reverse order. Then, the .join method, which you call in an empty string, acts like the glue. It just grabs each character as it pops out of that iterator and stitches them all back together into a brand new string. Okay, so we've seen a couple of really clever one-liners, but now let's get back to basics and look at a more foundational technique, the classic loop. This is the do-it-yourself approach. Instead of using a slick built-in trick, you're going to build that reversed string yourself, piece by piece. And honestly, this method really shows you understand the logic behind what you're doing. Here's the game plan. First, you create a totally empty string. This is where your final answer is going to go. Then, you loop through every single character in your original string, one by one. And here's the key. For each character you grab, you add it to the front of your new string. So if your new string is O and the next character is L, it becomes low. Your new string is literally growing backwards. It might be more typing, for sure, but understanding this fundamental pattern is going to help you solve way more complicated problems down the road. So there you have it, the slice, the joiner, and the loop. 3 totally different but completely valid ways to tackle the same exact problem, which, leads to the big question. Let's put them all side by side. You've got slicing, which is your speed demon. It's all about being as short and punchy as possible. Then you have the joiner, which is all about readability. You can tell exactly what it's doing at a glance. And finally, the classic loop, which is about demonstrating fundamental control. And that's really the big takeaway, right? The best method really depends on what you care about most in that specific situation. Pure brevity, crystal clear clarity, or foundational logic. So we'll leave you with this question. When you're working on your next project and you need to do this, which one are you going to reach for? The clever one-liner, the super readable 2-stepper, or the good old foundational loop? It's kind of interesting because your answer says a lot about your personal coding style. Something to think about. Thanks for hanging out with us on The Explainer.